Okay, for this week, Unit 6, our last week together, you have 2 projects that you are required to complete. And I just wanted to take our time tonight to kind of show you what the expectations are of this project. So hopefully you can see my screen. I'm in here on Unit 6. And the graded work you have is the financial statement project, the comprehensive problem, and then the final exam, all due by Sunday. Also, I want to point out that there is a link here that Southwestern College encourages students to take. So take a look at this link and this survey, and if you don't mind, take a minute to complete it. So first I'm going to talk about the Unit 6 Financial Statement Ratio and Analysis project. This project is referring to Chapter 17 in your textbook. I have provided some notes to the 10K, the annual report for Nike for 2016, and then some additional information about Nike that you're going to use to prepare this project. In Chapter 17, you learned about a horizontal and vertical analysis. So you'll be required to complete vertical and horizontal for both the balance sheet and the income statement. So you're going to open the documents I provided, and you're going to find the consolidated statement of income and the consolidated balance sheets in Part 8 of your annual report in order to complete this project. And then in Excel, you're going to prepare the analysis, the horizontal and the vertical analysis for each statement. And I'm going to provide you an example of a past student and what it looked like. You're also going to have to do a ratio analysis. So profitability and liquidity ratio, all this information that you need for these equations can be found in your financial statements. So you'll notice there's A through M as far as calculating the working capital, current ratio, and all the ones that are listed here. For L and M, make sure you pay attention. There's some information listed here that you need to know as far as the market price was $54.90 on May 29th. So that's some additional information you're going to need to know when you're calculating the price earnings ratio. After you prepare your ratios, you're going to also prepare a 1 to 2 page document that explains what you can conclude about Nike, and you'll want to incorporate the ratios that you calculated and how you've used those ratios to come to your conclusion. What is Nike doing well? Where's there areas for them to improve? Why are they doing well? Why do they have areas to improve? For example, is it competition? So those are the things that you want to talk about in your paper. You're going to save and submit all your work. So the work that you're going to have to submit will be your consolidated balance sheet for the horizontal analysis, plus your balance sheet vertical analysis, and then your income statement horizontal and vertical analysis, along with your calculations and results page. And make sure that you show your calculations either through using equations in Excel or writing out your calculations. And then you'll also include that 1 to 2 page document. So I'm going to kind of show you an example of a past project that was completed. This student prepared the project using Kroger. So they took the information and basically recopied the balance sheet here. They provided a horizontal analysis by calculating the amount of change, and they used equations to do so, and then the percent of change. And then they went ahead and provided the vertical analysis on the same page for the 2 years. In this case, they did 16 and 17. So for the vertical analysis, you'll notice that right now we are in the balance sheet. And so our bench, our threshold, our 100% mark is total assets. So we're comparing everything to total assets under our vertical analysis. And you can see the changes that occurred. They were very minimal changes. The other assets percentage increased. We have more in comparison to total assets. But the interesting thing that you can see from this is you can see that our inventory that we use under the FIFO method accounted for just under 22% of the total current assets. And so then you can just kind of see how they set this up. Here's the remainder of the balance sheet, the liabilities, calculating the horizontal and the vertical next to it. Now on the income statement, they did the same thing and kind of had the same setup. You by no means have to set your up this way. I just wanted to give you an example of what it looked like. And so when we're looking at the vertical analysis for the Kroger's income statement, the sales, the benchmark is the sales. So everything is as a percentage of sales for the vertical analysis. So it's interesting to see what makes up all of our expenses And the cost of merchandise makes up 77% of the sales. And then if you scroll down, you'll be able to look at earnings before income taxes. So they're only keeping about 2.53% of their sales in profits before taking into account income taxes. And then if you look at the end, the net earnings or loss, including non-controllable, still they're only keeping about 1.7%, and then overall they're keeping about 1.71% of their income. So those are kind of things that you'll take a look at when you are analyzing and preparing the horizontal analysis and the vertical analysis for your financial statement. Then on the third tab here, this student calculated the ratios. You're not required to write down the equations. It would be helpful when I'm grading, so I will be able to see how you calculated your information. But you can see here, based on her equations, that she took the quick assets divided by the current liabilities in order to calculate her ratios. And these are the ratios that you definitely want to talk about and refer to when you're writing your paper on how well the company is doing. Okay, and so now I want to switch back to the other project that you're going to be completing. And this is the comprehensive problem, all right? So this covers chapters 1 through 4, and it's information that you can get out of your book, but it's basically covering the accounting cycle. So I'm going to open this project or this document, and in this document you're going to prepare normal journal entries. Here's the document. So you're going to prepare just the normal day-to-day journal entries, and then you're going to post all of those entries to the ledger accounts using the form that we've learned previously. And then you will have an unadjusted trial balance. So as we go through the accounting cycle, after the unadjusted trial balance, we have this end of period spreadsheet. This end of period spreadsheet is not required. It is a tool that helps the accountant. I encourage you, but you won't be counted off if you do not prepare that worksheet. And then on page 7 of the journal, you'll start preparing your adjusting entries. And then you prepare an adjusted trial balance. Then you'll prepare your financial statements, income statement, statement of owner's equity, and balance sheet. So basically everything you learned in the first couple of weeks of this class. Then you have your closing entries, and then you have your post-closing trial balance. So that is what is expected of both of these projects. If you have any questions, please make sure that you contact me, and plenty of time for me to give you help.